Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to the Career Center's Preview Tech. My name is Wadalis Santiago, and today I will be going over everything related to the Career Center. So let me share my screen with you all. So a little background on the Career Center, what we do. We work with students from freshmen to their senior year, and we work with them regarding anything related to their internships, co-ops, career development, professional development. We host various workshops and events throughout the year, and we also host the largest career fair in the South. So right now you are seeing the Career Center website. I wanted to go over how to access the website. You can actually go to career.godtech.edu. That will give you access to all of the resources that we have available to students. You can actually view this as a non-Georgia Tech student as well. And you can see some of the tools that we have, such as resume writing guides. We have program guides for students to prepare their cover letters, and we have other career tools such as access to Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and other networking tools. We also have events throughout the semester where we go over different types of workshops related to professional development. So for example, we may have a resume review and resume guide workshop. Today we had a diversity, equity, and inclusion workshop where we went over how to navigate through imposter syndrome. So we have different types of workshops related to the different things that you'll need for professional development. Now, as an undergraduate student, you'll come in as a freshman, and you may or may not take your Georgia Tech 1000 course, which is sort of an introduction to the university, but we want you to know that these resources are available to you. You can actually come to the Career Center. We're located at the Bill Moore Student Success Center, where you can actually meet with a career development advisor, such as myself, and review your resume, your cover letter, networking tips. So if you aren't really sure where to get started with networking, what networking is, we would be the best points of contact for that. You can actually, under the undergraduate student tab, find your career advisor and schedule an appointment with one of us to go over these tips and tricks. You'll also notice that there is a tab on the website where you can learn about experiential learning, which includes our co-op internship programs. We also have global internship programs in partnership with the Office of International Initiatives. So you can actually do a global internship and study, or sort of like a blend of study abroad and an internship. We also have resources for students. So if you're interested in going to graduate school, we can help you get ready for your grad school applications and sort of prep you for those types of interviews so that you're, comfortable when you're going into the interview process for grad school. These are other tips that you can use that are just virtual. We go a little bit more in detail one-on-one with our students or through our workshops and events. Now, through Career Center, there is our biggest tool that students use is the CareerBuzz experiential learning tool. So CareerBuzz is the website that we use for our students to ensure that they're able to apply for internships and co-ops specifically that are looking for Georgia Tech students. The good thing about CareerBuzz, like I said, is that the companies that we have locally and abroad are looking specifically for Georgia Tech students. They know that the Career Center offers tools to develop these students professionally. They know they are developing the skills in the classroom, and they're also able to communicate those skills through their resumes and cover letters effectively. So through CareerBuzz, these companies, our partners such as Deloitte, will come to the Career Center and say, hey, we want Georgia Tech students, we want, the top students that you have. And they'll use CareerBuzz to post those positions for the students. So really through the Career Center, you do get firsthand access to the companies that are hiring locally, many of who are companies that students really want to work with after graduation. So we highly encourage students to create their Career Buzz account in order to get started with those internships and co-ops. Let me go back to our home page really quickly. Now, when you actually are on the Career Center website, you can actually follow us through social media as well, LinkedIn or Instagram. We do have those platforms available to you all. But you can also access our events page, and that will show everything that we have coming up for the year, right? So if you're interested in learning how to, improve your resume, you can see when we have that, right? So you can also see, workshops that we have available. If you want to learn how to write a cover letter, we have those workshops set up too, and they're available on the website. Another thing is you can actually get information on the career fair that we have. We have the all major career fairs through the Career Center every spring and fall. The next one is going to be coming up in January. And then we also partner with the departments to make sure that each department hosts their departmental career fairs as well. So students at Georgia Tech are constantly in contact with various employers, various programs who are looking for, maybe if they're interested in grad school or a medical school. They're in constant preparation and communication with these employers. We also are big on networking events. So if, for a semester, we recently had with the Ivan Allen College of Liberal Arts, we had an event where we invited various employers to the Career Center to have a meet and greet with students. So it's more so a more relaxed setting where employers were able to just have conversations with students and pick their brains about what their interests are and what their backgrounds were. They were also able to answer questions with students related to, future applications and, how they could prepare their resumes better for their future interests in their companies. Now, I also wanted to show here in this area, you can actually schedule an appointment with an advisor. So students are constantly able to speak with a career development advisor or someone at the Career Center. If they ever have any questions, they can actually do that from the homepage. And that will actually take them to their Career Buzz account where they can actually schedule that appointment. Okay. Now, let me show you the Career Buzz job board. So as I was stating earlier, Career Buzz is the area where employers will post their positions, and they'll post for various positions. So we have internships, which are specific to students who are interested in maybe working with various employers over the span of their time at Georgia Tech. And then we have the co-op positions, which are more so a commitment that students will make to work for an employer and do a rotational program where they rotate from working with the company and then also taking classes when they're not working with the company. Typically, these co-ops are designed for direct employment with that employer at the end of their time at Georgia Tech. So if you're not really sure of working with one company during your time at Georgia Tech, I would highly recommend the internship option. We also have part-time postings and full-time postings available. Just to kind of show you an idea of what those look like. Here you can actually see the types of positions that are open for different majors for full-time employment. And again, these are companies that are looking specifically for Georgia Tech students and have identified our student population as people that they would like to work with and hire after graduation. Now, I wanted to just give you a brief overview of the Career Center. I know you all have questions, and there's a few of you here. So I wanted to go ahead and open up the floor for questions. And stop sharing. Okay. And there's actually a button here on, I think it's the bottom right of your page, where you can select Q&A and you can submit your questions. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes to, I'll give you all a couple minutes to go ahead and submit your questions. All right, so I see one coming in here. Let's see here. It's, I thought it was here. No, I don't see it. Go ahead and try to send that again. Okay. So the question is from Mary, is it already required for first year students to get an internship? So internships are not required during your time at Georgia Tech. Okay, we highly recommend students to at least participate in one internship during their time here, just so that you can gain some industry experience, right? So it's not required, and you're also not required to register it through Georgia Tech, but we do recommend that you at least participate in one. That way you can get, again, industry experience, see what employers you're interested in working with, and that way you have some type of work experience. You can also do research if you're more so interested in pursuing research or any other program like a graduate program. Some students don't necessarily want to work in industry right after they graduate, so they may do research experience instead of an internship or co-op. So you're not required to, though. There's another question here. In what year can you get a co-op? So students are required to have a co-op within their, I believe it's the sophomore to junior year, because you have to complete 3 rotations with a company, and you're not able to complete the final rotation. I believe it's in the last semester of your graduation, or I'm sorry, of your senior year. We do have an experiential learning team that is dedicated to internships and co-ops, and you can actually schedule a meeting with them to discuss the last semester, where you can submit your application for the co-op. But I would recommend no later than the end of your sophomore year, so that you can complete those 3 rotations within the time frame. Okay. The next one is, around what year do most students start working in co-op positions? That's sort of like the last question. So I would say the end of the sophomore year is probably the last semester, because you do have to dedicate the 3 semesters, right? Rotation with that specific company. Now, let's say you don't meet the deadline to complete the co-op. There's no worries. You can still use the internship option, and a lot of students actually will work in an internship, and depending how you work with the employer, will get an invite at the end of the term for employment. Is there a time window for applying on CareerBuzz? So yes, so most companies will tell you what deadlines you need to submit your application by. You also will need to, if you're planning on registering your internship for at Georgia Tech, let's say you're trying to remain eligible for housing, right? Or you're an international student and you need to have your co-op or internship registered with the university to prove that you're still an active student. You will also need to not only meet the application deadlines for the position, you'll also need to meet the deadlines for the actual registration of the internship or co-op. And that's also something that you would want to look at on the website. It is available on the website, all of the deadlines for each semester. All right, for students who find the opportunity to take an internship with a company during college, how easy or common is it that they are able to immediately get hired by that company after college? I would say that most students that we work with, that I've encountered at the Career Center, who have had some type of internship, as long as you're maintaining a good relationship with your employer, you're meeting deadlines, you're meeting goals, and obviously the needs of the business, they typically do have offers for employment after graduation. Again, this is more subjective with regard to the company, right? It also depends on that company's need to hire right after. But I will say that I've advised many students who have interned with a company and have had return offers for full-time employment after they've worked with a company. So what are some of the majors heavily desired by companies or government? So this is a good question. I would say that most of the employers that I've worked with, the recruiters, especially larger consulting companies, have stressed the need for people with multiple backgrounds, multiple majors. So there's not necessarily one major that stands out for a particular company. Now, if there is a particular industry where you need, for example, architecture, you need to have an architectural background in order to apply for a position. You can actually schedule a meeting with the department to determine what other programs within that college they have that can possibly be marketable within the industry, right? But as far as employers, the ones that I have met with, there's a need for various backgrounds. So obviously, whether you're planning on doing computer science, right? There's need for data analysts, right, within the program. And I believe there's a concentration that you can do specific to analytics, right? So there's not really one that stands out. It really just depends on the industry. But I will say that they're looking for people with various backgrounds to fill different roles within the company. Okay, so the question is, which is more common for students at Georgia Tech? Getting an internship during the summer or having a gap year for an internship program? So we do have students who may take a gap year to do, experiential learning, right? Whether it's a co-op or study abroad. It really just depends on the student, though. I wouldn't say one is more common than the other. We have so many different opportunities, right? Most commonly, our internships are used by students, right? So they may take the summer to do an internship, and then they might find an opportunity on the Lorraine campus in France to do a study abroad program in the fall, right? But I wouldn't necessarily say that one or the other is more common. It's really your personal interests. Both are available to you depending on what your interests are. I would say when you're here, meet with the experiential learning team so that we can go over options, right? So if you are planning on doing, an internship summer and then fall, you can plan ahead to do that, right? And then also meet with your academic advisor so that you're also staying on track to meet the requirements for your curriculum. Because our internships are, you can get credit for your internships, but you cannot get course credit, right? So there's a distinguishment there that you would want to clarify as well with your academic advisor to ensure that you're not falling too far behind in your curriculum. Next question is, for internships in Atlanta, do students typically live on campus during the internship? This is a good question. We do have the option for you to live in the dorms as long as you register the internship. I'm not 100% sure of the housing, if you have to be full-time to live in housing for the summer, but we do have part-time or full-time internship options for the summer. And again, every student is different, so it's more subjective than anything. But there is an option to live on campus while you're interning if you are, not from the area, or you would just rather live on campus while you're here. You would just have to make sure that, again, the internship is registered through the Career Center and that you're meeting all the deadlines for registration. Okay. All right. What other questions do you have? Now, so one thing I will tell you, coming into Georgia Tech as a freshman, like I was saying earlier, we typically will have students, we'll give presentations to students. If you don't take a GT 1000 or any other freshman learning community, what I would encourage students to do when they're coming in as freshmen is coming to the Career Center. Like I said, we offer appointments Monday through Friday, right? So you can schedule a meeting with someone, a career development advisor, and get started as soon as possible on how you can either create your resume or improve your resume. After you schedule your meeting, it's really important to attend the workshops, right? So you're understanding how to leverage your networking as a freshman. When you're entering a new setting, it's hard because most students don't know really anyone. So the Career Center is a great center point for students to meet with someone here on campus who is able to connect with people through various departments and get you all connected, right? If you all do not already have a LinkedIn account, one thing that we encourage students to do right away is to create a LinkedIn account, because we do believe in the power of networking here at the Career Center. And the earlier you start networking, the better, right? Reaching out to people on campus, right? And, starting conversations about the research that they have going on. Or when you meet someone at a career center, when you meet with someone at a career fair and you connect with them through LinkedIn to follow up on your conversation. These are skills that we tell students, even as freshmen, to start developing. I highly encourage you all to visit the website, review the resume guide that we have available to all students. Even if you're not a Georgia State student, right? Even if you're an incoming freshman who's interested in Georgia Tech, you get a preview of the sorts of resources that we have available to our students, and you get a preview of what types of resumes our students are creating, right, in order to get these opportunities with these companies and landing internship opportunities and co-op opportunities, right? So I highly recommend you all to as incoming freshmen who are hoping to start at Georgia Tech, I encourage you to visit the website, use those resources, create your LinkedIn account, start connecting with the university, even adding the Georgia Tech Career Center to your network on LinkedIn as a start, right? Just to practice those skills, leveraging those skills. I'm sorry, and that way you get a head start, right? You already sort of know what to expect as a freshman. We have about 30 more minutes in the session. What other questions do you all have? I don't see any questions coming. Okay. Well, I do want to say thank you all so much for joining us in this session for the Career Center. Uh, like I said, if you all have any other questions, you can visit. Oh, wait, there's one here. Yes, the recording will be available. I was just about to say my information is also located on the website. So if you do have any additional questions, you can actually reach out to me as well. I do have one question here. If we are transferring to tech next year, what are some recommendations in terms of network building, or does the same advice apply? This is a good question. I would say that a lot of it does apply. I would also say to um, leverage your contacts at your former institution as well. Don't completely forget about them. Add them on LinkedIn as well. Because there may be opportunities that they're familiar with as well in the future for like internships or anything like that. So definitely keep in contact if there's any faculty or staff that you worked with at your prior institution, and go ahead and add them on LinkedIn as well. But a lot of it, yes, it does transfer over to our transfer students. It is applicable to you all as well. Um, if you are transferring, I would also say come to the Career Center and let's review your resume. Chances are that you already have a year's worth of experience, whether it's working on projects in class or doing some type of leadership on campus or even off campus. So come in and schedule an appointment with the Career Center so that we can review your resume, see where it's at right now. That way we can start preparing you so you can apply to the internships or research, whatever it is that you're interested in. Especially if going into your sophomore year, you want to make sure that by sophomore year you're at least looking for some type of internship. Even we say by sophomore year, but honestly, I encourage even freshmen to start looking for internships. Yes, so I believe the link, the recording will automatically go to your email. If you registered for this um, session, you'll receive the email with the recording. What other questions do you have? Okay, so the question is, what percentage of internships or co-ops will get as a freshman or sophomore? Also, once you graduate, what percentage will land a job? Okay, so we do actually have data on our website that will show percentage of students who are employed. I want to say, I can't remember the percentage off the top of my head, but I will say that there's a significant rate of students who are employed from Georgia Tech. And again, this is for those who go into industry. We have other students who tend to apply for research, graduate programs, or even medical school. So, but there is a high rate of employment. Now, we we don't have job placement here, which is why we encourage students to participate in internships and co-ops. And the majority of the networking that you do, you should leverage those networks in order to, have your opportunities open up a little bit more. So I would recommend that if you, want to land a job after you graduate, you participate in those programs. And again, if you're using the resources, if you're active and you're networking, you're doing all of the right things, you're having the Career Center look over your resume. We have a high rate of students who do land a job after they graduate. What other questions do you have? These are good questions. So, all right. So since there are no other questions, again, I invite you all to visit our website. And if you do all have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, my name is Widalis Santiago. I am a career development advisor for the Georgia Tech Career Center, and I work with all majors. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. And I look forward to seeing you all on campus. Have a good evening.